Cooking with Julie Taboulie is made possible by our members and by viewers like you. Thank you.
This Thanksgiving, I'm keeping true to my traditions with my Lebanese-style savory stuffing, rizvi hashwi. This authentic Arabic rice has been gracing my family's harvest table ever since I was a kid. Made up of wild rice, long grain rice, mouth-watering meat, aromatic herbs, seasonings, and spices, with toasted to perfection pine nuts makes a moist as can be stuffing sure to leave you and all of your guests in utter glee. It's time to twist things up this Thanksgiving with a few new traditions to the table. So I'm starting on our fresh herbs for our authentic Arabic rice stuffing, our rizvi hashwi, and it is so savory and so sensational, especially with all of these fresh herbs that we're adding to our long grain rice and wild rice blend. As you can see, I have some beautiful fresh rosemary. I'm just taking the leaves right off the stem. And to this, I'm going to be adding some fresh sage and some fresh thyme, and of course some fresh flat leaf parsley and also some fresh mint. So it's going to be full of all those fresh herb flavors. I love this rice stuffing so much. It just brings me right back to the harvest time and holidays. This is the rice stuffing that my mother always made for us when we were growing up around those harvest and holiday time of year. So I'm just going to start to finely chop up our fresh rosemary. It's going to release all of that beautiful essence and aroma in the air, and the oils as well. And now I'm going to grab myself some beautiful sage leaves right over here. Look at that. Oh, smells so good. It's so nice because around the holidays and harvest time, obviously there's so many traditions that every family has. But it's nice every year to kind of mix things up a bit and add some, new stuffings, new side dishes, new sauces, keep things interesting and entertaining. I mean, it's nice to have all of the classic dishes that you're used to, but then it's also nice to have some new ones added to the mix too. I'm just gonna give my knife another run through it. Gosh, it smells so good. And I'm just on the herbs. We've only just begun. We haven't even gotten to our Cornish hens yet. Okay, that looks great. And now I'm going to add in some fresh thyme as well. Has such a nice brightness to it. I'm just going to kind of run my fingers along the sprigs here, the stems, and just release those little leaves. So lovely. All of these flavors are really going to enhance the Cornish hens because we're going to be using this as our stuffing side dish, and we're also going to be using this stuffing to fill up our fabulous Cornish hens with too. So they're really going to complement that bird. Beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to grab myself some fresh flat leaf parsley and also some fresh mint leaves too. Okay, wonderful. So now we have all of our fresh herbs and they are waiting in the wings on our board over here, and we are going to get started on making our rice, our authentic Arabic rice, our rizvi hashwi. Love it. And I'm going to start off with 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm just going to drizzle in about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And we want to get our pot really nice and hot because we're going to brown up our meat over here beautifully. And today I'm using about 1.5 pounds of beef, and I'm using a 90-10. You could also use 80-20 if you like to, or 85, whichever. And you could also use lamb, of course, or mix the two, the lamb and the beef. And I'm just going to get this beef into our hot pot. And when you're browning up meat, as I always do, as Mama taught me, you always want to keep your cooking utensil in the meat as you're browning it, as that helps to minimize any liquid or water releasing from the meat. Okay, so that's coming along really nice. It's beautifully browning up for us, which is definitely what we're looking for. And to that, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of our wild rice blend. You can use any rice that you like. You can use brown rice instead of the long grain rice, or you could use white rice, basmati rice, jasmine rice. There's so many rices out there, so whichever is your favorite, go for it. But since this is a traditional Arabic stuffing that we eat mostly around harvest and holiday time, I'm really kind of keeping to earthiness with the wild rice and the long grain rice. Okay, so now I'm just going to toast the rice up and mix it with the beef and get it nice and incorporated in with that mixture. Look at that. It looks so earthy, so comforting, and I cannot wait to share this with my family and friends. And now we're going to add our liquid. I'm going to add 8 cups of water. Wonderful. Okay, so now I'm going to season this up, and then we're going to add all of our fresh herbs. I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of sea salt, just like so. And I'm going to add in 1/2 tablespoon of freshly ground pepper. And now it's time for all of our fresh herbs. We're going to add in our rosemary and our sage and our thyme. And we're going to also add in our fresh flat leaf parsley and our mint, of course. All the herbs really make this rice completely nice. All right, so now I'm just blending all of this together. Okay, so we're going to turn our heat to low, and we're just going to let it simmer away until all of the water has been absorbed. We're not going to come back and check on it and stir it and play with it at all or anything like that. And in the meantime, we're going to start to prepare our Cornish hens for our Thanksgiving and harvest holiday traditional table. Our authentic Arabic rice, our rizbi hashwi, is slowly simmering away. And the word rizbi hashwi literally translates to rice with meat. And that delicious rice with meat stuffing is going to go inside of our Cornish hens that I have over here. So I have 6 Cornish hens that we're doing for today's harvest, holiday, Thanksgiving-y dishes. And in the meantime, I'm going to get started on preparing all of our aromatics that are going to sit at the bottom of our roasting pan that are going to kind of seep into these beautiful Cornish hens right here. So I'm going to grab myself a red onion, a Vidalia onion, a couple shallots, and then we're also going to put some fresh herbs to go in the bottom of our roasting pan as well. And I'm just going to simply peel these and then quarter them and lay them right in the bottom of our roasting pan. Certainly having a big turkey on the table is impressive, but it's also equally impressive to have these individual Cornish hens for everybody. My mother did them all the time for us, especially around the harvest holiday season, so I just love doing them too, of course. I like that we each had our own little Cornish hen. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take off our rack right here. I'll just put that up. And I'm actually going to drizzle some extra virgin olive oil right on the bottom. Gives a little bit of extra flavor. Extra, extra. And then I'm just going to put in our wedges of our aromatics, our onions and our shallots, just like so. Kind of break them apart with your fingers too a little bit. That across too, just like so. And of course, all of these herbs went into our rice too, so they're all going to really complement each other beautifully. Okay, so that looks good to go, and I'm just going to give them a little bit of seasoning, and then I'm going to pour a little bit of water in the bottom of our pan too. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and a half a teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. Beautiful. And now I'm just gonna add in about 2 cups of cold water. Just gonna eyeball it. Okay, that is good to go. I'm gonna get our rack back in. Okay, so now we're gonna get to our Cornish hens. We're gonna start to season these up and then we're gonna stuff them. And I'm gonna start by drizzling some extra virgin olive oil right on top of each one, just like so. They're gonna be nice and tender and super savory with that stuffing. And then of course, we wanna generously season them with sea salt and freshly ground pepper. And now I'm also gonna get some fresh thyme sprigs and take some of the leaves right off the sprigs. I think everybody is gonna be super impressed for this harvest holiday meal. Now I'm just gonna flip them each over, just like so. And I'm gonna season the other side. Same thing, sea salt, freshly ground pepper, and some thyme. Okay, so I'm just finishing up the last one right here. And I can smell our stuffing, our rice stuffing simmering away, and I think it's just about done. It's perfect timing because we're gonna use that to stuff our Cornish hens. So we're gonna take a look at that. Woo, look at that. Love that steam and that aroma. It looks beautiful. And you can see that we just didn't touch it at all. Remember, we just brought it to a boil and then we turned the heat to low and just let it simmer. And you can see how beautiful that looks. All those fresh herbs and that meat are just running through it. So I'm just gonna turn our heat off and we're gonna finish our Arabic rice stuffing, our Rizvi hashwi, with some nuts. And it's gonna be so crunchy and so nutty and make the perfect touch for this rice stuffing. Okay, so we're gonna get our saute pan hot and we're gonna start off with 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil too. I always love adding the butter and the olive oil together when we toast up our nuts because it really gives a nice finishing flavor to them. That's beautiful. Okay, and now we're gonna add in our pine nuts. You can just kind of gauge it however much nuts that you like to add in. But I have about half a cup of pine nuts. And to this, I'm also gonna add in a handful of some slivered almonds. A little bit more. It smells so much like the harvest and holiday time right now. I just love it. Smells like my mama's kitchen. And also some whole almonds. Okay, great. And actually, I'm gonna add just a little bit of sea salt because all of our nuts in there are unsalted. Just a little touch, just to give them a little bit of flavor. And then we're just gonna toast up our nuts, just like so. And we're gonna add this right into our hashwi, our Rizvi hashwi, our authentic Arabic rice stuffing. We just want to get a nice golden brown color. We definitely don't want to over toast our nuts. And you can always smell when they're ready because they start releasing that great aromatics in the air and you know they're done. And I'm just going to put about half of our nuts in here. I'm going to save the other half for the remaining rice that we have. That looks good. Okay, perfect. So now I'm just going to mix in those nuts with the rice stuffing. Oh my gosh. I could really eat the whole bowl just like this, like right now. But I do want to give it a quick taste just to make sure everything is good to go. Pretty perfect. Crunchiness of the nuts and the rice is cooked perfectly. All those fresh herbs, so savory, so scrumptious. Yummy. And now I'm going to get to filling our Cornish hens up. I'm going to show you how we do it. Just going to grab it just like so, kind of rest it up a little bit. I'm going to get it really close to my bowl of rice. And I'm just going to start to take our filling with our spoon, just like so. And I'm going to kind of press the filling in as I fill it with the rice stuffing. We want to make sure that we have enough rice in each one, because these are going to be individual Cornish hens for everybody. I want to make sure they have enough rice for all of their meat. Plus, it's super delicious when it's cooked in the Cornish hen. I think one more little scoop should do it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I'm just going to enclose that rice mixture into the Cornish hen. I'm just going to lift the 2 sides up just like so and take my pointy, sharp end of the skewer and just kind of weave it in and around the skin so we get a nice enclosure, just like so. Okay, so that is our one, and then now I'm going to start to do the remaining Cornish hens. Okay, so that is my last Cornish hen, and now I'm just going to grab our foil that I have right over here. I have a sheet that I pre-did, measured it out to my roasting pan. I'm just going to place it right over, kind of create a little bit of a hood in the center there, and I'm just going to enclose them. And I have my oven preheated at 450 degrees, and I'm going to bake these for a half hour at 450 degrees, and also the breast is up on these. And then after about a half hour, I'm going to turn our heat to about 350 degrees, and we're going to let them slowly bake for another hour. So I just removed our Cornish hens from the oven. They've been roasting for about 30-40 minutes or so. We're just going to take a quick look at them, see how they're doing. And they're doing beautifully, as you can see, and it smells even better. So savory and so scrumptious. And basically, we're just going to remove the foil, and we're going to get them back into the oven so they can roast for another 45 minutes or so. And by removing the foil now, it's also going to help to get that really golden brown color that we're looking for right on top of those Cornish hens. Cannot wait to taste those Cornish hens. They're going to roast away for another 45 minutes or so until they're nice and savory and scrumptious. And in the meantime, we're going to get started on my side dish of the day. Every harvest and holiday meal certainly has many different side dishes, and today we're doing one of my family's and one of my favorite. It's a Middle Eastern mixed green side dish, and it all starts with our fresh baby spinach and arugula leaves that I have right over here, and we're going to get tons of aromatics of yellow onion and red onion and shallots, of course, and we're going to get these caramelizing first. Okay, so now we're just going to get some olive oil, extra virgin of course, into our saute pan. Get these going. Ooh, lost a few on the way. No problem, just pick them right back up, right? Just get them coated with the extra virgin olive oil, and then they'll just do their thing. They'll start to caramelize beautifully up for us. So we have, again, our baby spinach and arugula blend. And I have our bulgur wheat. It's number 2, so it's medium. So it's a little bit thicker than the fine, and it's a little bit smaller than the larger number 3 grain. And I'm just going to get about half a cup into my bowl, and we're going to soak this in some water. And they're just going to soak on standby while our onions are caramelizing up. Now, if you like to use quinoa, you could definitely do that. You could use the white quinoa, or you could use the red quinoa, or you could use the tricolored quinoa, which is white, red, and black quinoa. It's kind of cool. It's kind of almost like a wild grain, rice grain kind of blend, but with quinoa form. So that could be gluten-free for you, no problem there. So that's going to be soaking. We're going to take a look at our onions. Our onions are caramelizing up beautifully. They have this beautiful light beige caramel color, and that's definitely what we're looking for. And now it's time to add in our greens, our spinach greens and our arugula blend. And we're just going to put these right over. And this is about 1.5 pounds or so of our greens. And as you know, anytime we're working with greens, They definitely reduce down to about half the amount that you started with in raw form. So you definitely want to make sure you have enough greens to go around. I've got a big family and a lot of friends waiting for me for our harvest holiday meal today. So I'm just going to start to turn them, and I'm going to lower our heat to medium-low. Some of the other side dishes and harvest and holiday time in general tends to be a little bit weighed down, you know, so it's nice to get some greens to go around. You feel good too when you're eating them amongst the other savory dishes that you have going on. By this time, my bulgur wheat should be ready to join in our greens as well. Mixing in our greens and grains together, as we always do here in the Julie Taboulie kitchen. Okay, so we're just going to check again really quickly if they are ready. Just kind of squeeze the grain between your fingertips, just like so. And if it is softened, then it's good to go. And then we're just going to bring it in our hands, and we're going to wring it from the water and just sprinkle it right over those greens and those caramelized onions. And now we're just going to season them up. I'm just going to add about half a teaspoon of some sea salt right over the top here. And our finishing signature spice for this, that's going to be so nice, is some allspice. And I'm going to do about half a teaspoon of this as well. I love kind of the notes that this spice has, being the cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove. It's going to give a really nice warmthness to the greens. And of course, I just need to give this a little taste, make sure everything is super delicious before I share it with my family and friends. Get a little bit of that onion. Wow. This is a spectacular side dish. I love the greens and those caramelized onions and shallots kind of running through, and then that bite of the bulgur wheat, and then the allspice just shoots this one right up into the sky. Okay, so I can smell that our Cornish hens are just about finished, and I'm going to be so excited to share them with my family and friends today. I'm just plating up our greens and grains for our traditional Thanksgiving harvest time meal. Look how beautiful these look. Absolutely delicious. And you can see that I have our Cornish hens out as well. They have baked up beautifully. They're nice and brown. They have this super crispy, crunchy coating right on top. Look at that gorgeousness. And I have another plate. I always like to put more of the Risby Heshwi on the bottom there. Look at these. Look at that. Wow. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Look at that beautiful brown color. All right, so now we're just going to scoop these right out. Get these right on our platter there for everyone. My family and friends are going to be so happy. Sharing is really caring. Such an impressive holiday harvest time meal. Wow. That's pretty impressive, right? Just gonna get a little bit of juice. Just pour some right over. All of our aromatics, our onions and our shallots and our rosemary and sage gave these Cornish hens delicious, delicious flavor. Super savory. And then of course you can always use all of these great juices and strain them and kind of reduce them down to make a gravy or a jus, whichever you like. Okay, and now I'm just going to do a little bit of finishing touches with my plating and presentation, which I love so much. It's all about eye appeal, right? I'm just going to get some nice rosemary, just kind of nestle these right in to the rice and the Cornish hens. Beautiful. I just love garnishing my finished plates. It's one of my most favorite things to do. I mean, you know, you spend all this good quality time preparing the meals, and the plating and presentation is equally important, I think. So look at this amazing and magnificent display that we have here today. We have our Rizvi Hashwi, our authentic Arabic rice, which led the way because this rice also served as our stuffing for our glorious Cornish hens right over here. And of course we have our green side dish, our arugula and baby spinach with caramelized onions, bulgur wheat, and a little bit of allspice to make everything nice. And I'm super excited to share this with my family and friends today, and with all of you out there. I wish you and yours to always take global hana, eat in happiness. I really want to thank all of you for coming today and celebrating our family Thanksgiving. It really means a lot. Everybody taking the time. Happy Thanksgiving. I wish everybody health and happiness and love.
On the next Cooking with Julie Taboulie.
I'm in apple country with the dream sweet of the Middle East, simply called kanafi.
On the next Cooking with Julie Taboulie. Cooking with Julie Taboulie is made possible by our members and by viewers like you. Thank you.